Well, is that time of the year where people are starting to do that AFL ladder predictions for the new season. So today in this video I'll be giving my 2025 AFL ladder predictions. I am a bit late on this, but luckily the season hasn't started yet, so it's all good. I do apologise about the lighting as well. It isn't the best for this video, but I just decided let's get my predictions out now because we need to get them out before it's too late. And I'm finally back with the videos. I've been super busy with sport and school since school's just been back, but I'm back and let's get straight into my ladder predictions. Just going to get straight into it. 18th spot, no surprise. Everyone has this team here. Well, I'll be surprised if anyone has anything different. We have the Richmond Tigers coming in at 18th spot. And look, most people, as I said, have put Richmond in last. I mean, they've just struggled a lot lately. Last season they struggled a lot. They've been getting rid of all their good players. All their good players are retiring. They're getting a very young. They've got a very young side now, I should say. Obviously, last season playing a lot of VFL players, just lower level people, not your senior level people. So they were just in all sorts of struggle last season. This year, I reckon they'll be in even more struggle. I do see some of that new draft picks and everything actually doing something good to the club. Obviously, they got drafted for a reason, so you would hope they would make the club a little bit better. But for this season and probably the seasons to come for the next couple of years, they aren't going to be really too good. I think it's the start of a new rebrand for the Richmond Tigers. It'll be interesting to see how they play in 2025, but I don't think anyone's got them higher than 18th. Now, in 17th spot, I've got North Melbourne Kangaroos. I know I said in my 2024 ladder predictions that I felt like it had to be a year, like just give them one more year before I put them up higher than the bottom four, I should say. But I know they have got some very nice looking, like a very nice looking team and everything. They've been getting some really good players onto their team. They're starting to stack up on some players, and don't get me wrong, I feel like they can perform really well in season 2025. But I feel like there's just more teams that are going to be better this season. And look, I really wanted to put them higher. I just didn't know exactly where to put them. The bottom three are going to be the same as last season, so I probably just spoiled for my 16th spot. But I just didn't know where to put North Melbourne. As I said, I felt like there were teams a bit, or that deserve to be a bit higher than them. Don't get me wrong though, they probably are going to have a much better season and will be good. I feel like they will beat some really strong teams, but I've got them in 17th. Now in 16th spot, we have the West Coast Eagles, and same as North Melbourne, or pretty much the same as what I'm going to say with North Melbourne is, I feel like they were just teams that deserve to be higher than them. Don't get me wrong, I feel like they're going to have a really good season like North Melbourne, a much better one than last season. Obviously, getting really good players throughout the draft and trade and everything. They've already got some really good players, Harley Reid and everything. You know, North Melbourne, West Coast are stacking up, but like I said, I feel like there's just more teams that deserve to be higher than West Coast. But we never know with footy. You can finish last one season and finish in the top eight next season. It's interesting the game, but I just feel like West Coast will finish 16th. In 15th spot, it felt weird to put this team in, but I've got the Melbourne Demons. Now, last season, let's just say, they were in a bit of a struggle. Obviously, they had some really nice games. They weren't like a really bad team, but they started to struggle a bit, obviously, throughout injuries and everything. And now they've still got some injuries, and I just feel like they're not going to be a really good team this year. Obviously, making finals for the past few years now, and last season they missed out. They After last season, I feel like it's just going to be the same thing this year. Don't get me wrong, I do see them actually pulling off some really nice wins this season. I really do, especially when they have some uh, healthy players on the team and everything that aren't injured and the needed players they need. They will be a really solid team, I feel like. But I just feel like 15th is going to be the spot they finish. I don't see them finishing high. I feel like they're just going to have a really season struggling. And I feel like they need to start rebuilding up a bit and all that. In 14th spot, similar to what I said with the D's, I have the Adelaide Crows. Obviously, last season they finished 15th. I bumped them up higher. A lot of people have them higher up on the ladder, but I'm going to chuck them at 14th. I do like as Melbourne. I do see them getting some really nice wins and everything. I really do. I just feel like there's more teams that deserve to be higher than them, and I just, for some reason, now I've said this, they're probably going to go out and make top 8, but I just feel like last year was a stupid call by me. I predicted Adelaide to finish 6th last year, and that was a really shocking call there. They finished 15th, I believe. So I feel like I said, they're going to have some good wins, but I just don't see them finishing higher than 14th. I feel like 14th is a decent spot for them. Just not really sure about the Adelaide Crows at the moment. 13th spot, we have the Gold Coast Suns, and well, I think it's going to be the same as last year. They're just going to win at home and barely win away, and that's just going to be season 2025 for Gold Coast. We saw their pre-season game when they played the Lions and the Pies, and they won both their games, but it's only pre-season, don't worry, anything can happen in pre-season. But we never know with Gold Coast. They've never made the finals yet, so this could potentially be their first season making finals. We just don't know, but they're always that average team every year that finish around the 13th mark. And I feel like once again it's going to be where they finish. Oh, look, I feel like they are going to be dominant at home. When they play in Gold Coast, they are an extraordinary team at home, and Darwin and everything as well. They're very nice up there and all that, but I feel like when they're playing away games, they're just going to struggle a bit. And like last year, they're just going to get their first couple away wins towards the end of the season, and it won't be enough time for them to try and make finals. But 13th, I feel like that's the right mark for the Gold Coast Suns. Now, in 12th spot, it feels a bit weird me putting this team here. I have the Western Bulldogs, and well, they have a solid team when you look at their playing list and everything, but they just don't really know how to perform properly. I feel like they are a very nice team, and they are a strong team, and they can actually dominate in games and win a lot of games when they can and everything. But sometimes looking at them, they just look like they don't want to be there. Like I was watching one of their preseason games, and they just weren't really playing the sort of football you would think the Bulldogs would play. So it's very weird. But I feel like 12th is going to be their mark. I feel like they'll get off to a alright start. I feel like they're going to have like a really good start to the season, but they're just going to drop off a bit. Or the other way around, have a bad start to the season and then try and get good in the end. It's not going to be too much. So I do feel like they'll be alright, but not the best in season 2025. In 11th spot, I have the St Kilda Saints, and I'm surprised what they're doing. I know, like I said, it's only pre-season, but I was watching pre-season, their games and everything, and they're winning. They are playing some really nice football, and they're like an average team as well. They will make finals one year, and next year they won't. They are 50-50 where to put the Saints, but I feel like the Saints are going to play really good footy in 2025, but just miss out in finals, as I feel like there's going to be a couple more teams that deserve to be higher than the Saints. Last year, though, they were playing really well near the end of the season, pulling off some miracle wins, and probably some of the top 10 wins last season. But I feel like 11th spot is a reasonable spot for the Saints. I feel like they're going to have a really good season, but they're just going to slip out finals. In 10th spot, I have the Essendon Bombers. Now, when I was first trying to figure out my ladder prediction, I put them down quite low, but I felt like they can't. I feel like they're still going to be good. If we have to look back at last year and everything, they were actually still a solid side. You know, they were in finals and everything, and then they just choked near the end of the season, and they did make finals, but they still have a solid list, I have to say. So I don't feel like they're going to drop too much, but I just don't see them making finals. I feel like 10th is a really good spot to put Essendon. You never know though, last season was really nice. They were in finals for a while, but then they dropped off, so I'm chucking Essendon at 10th. In 9th spot, one away before we crack into the top 8, I have the Carlton Blues. You know, last season they just snuck into finals, I believe, and they got flogged. Oh, I shouldn't say got flogged, but I think it was 60-0 in the elimination final, and well, that just summed up their finals. They were out already. I think it was injuries last season that cost them a bit. Look, I feel like they'll be a solid side like Essen, but I just don't see them making finals this year. I feel like they're going to have a really dominant season, but they're going to drop off towards the end of the season and just not qualify for finals. You never know with Carlton, they can do it. I know they can, but I just feel like 9th is where they're going to finish. Now we crack down into the top 8. The moment you guys probably been waiting for. At 8th spot, I have the Collingwood Magpies. Now, last season was probably called the Premiership Hangover. And yeah, cool, we can agree. But it's a new season. There's no excuse now. And I feel like injuries also did not help last season. I feel like they're going to play more better footy in 2025, but I don't feel like they're going to go too high in the top 8. You never know, but I just don't see them going too high in the top 8. Throughout the season, I can definitely see them higher than 8, but when it's the end of that season, I feel like they're going to finish 8. They should make finals, in my opinion, but I feel like 8 is a good spot for the Pies. In 7th spot, we have the GWS Giants, and let's just be real, they've got a solid list and all that, but I just didn't know where exactly to put the Giants. I feel like they'll play an elimination final this season. They're going to be a very good side. I feel like they're going to drop off some important games they shouldn't really lose, as most teams do, to be honest. But the Giants, I've got them at 7th. Not too much to say, to be honest, about the Giants, but they're at 7th. In 6th spot, we got Port Adelaide. They had a very dominant year last season, I think finishing in the top 4. But I feel like they're going to drop off a bit this year. They still are a very solid side, but I just don't see them having that year where they're going to go out winning the flag. I feel like they're still definitely a final team, or finals team, I should say, and all that. But I just don't see them finishing in the top 4. I feel like they're going to do what the Giants do and just drop off a few games and important games they should win. They're going to have a very strong start, I feel like, but they're going to just slow down a bit and not do the best towards the end of the season, which would cost them the top 4, but they'll still make finals. In 5th spot, we have the Sydney Swans. Now, a lot of people have them dropping out finals, but we just got to remember, they made the grand final last year. They finished first. They were a very solid side last year. We've got to look at their list and realise they've still got a very solid lineup and everything. So we can't just not drop them out of the finals just because after the grand final loss. They've still got a very good side and everything. Look, obviously when you get belted in the grand final, teams don't do good the next season. But Sydney, they've got a very good side still. I don't feel like they'll make top 4 again, even though with the side they have. I feel like after obviously that belting in the grand final, they are going to drop off, but not too much when they miss the 8. So that's why I've got them at 5th. Now in 4th spot, we have my team, the Fremantle Dockers. Now last season, we should have honestly finished in top 2 if I'm honest. But we choked towards the end of the season. Now, a lot of people don't realise this, or they're starting to realise it now. We've actually got a very solid side, and when we actually want to play footy, we are a very dominant side, and we can be flag contenders. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say we are flag contenders. Every supporter of your team hopes you are flag contender in that year, but I'm not going to go out and say Fremantle flag contenders. I would sure hope we are and do go out to win the flag, but I feel like 4th is a reasonable spot, even though last year we were in the top 2 mark and everything. And I could have put Freo in that top 3. I just felt like I didn't want to be too biased. I feel like 4th is a reasonable spot since last season. We just missed our finals, and we're going to bump back up into that finals. 3rd spot, we have the Hawthorn Hawks, and what a team they are. They are probably one of my favourite teams now. Last season just gave me so much motivation just to tune into a Hawks game. I was so tempted to buy a Hawks jersey, or Guernsey, whatever you want to call it. They play some exciting football in Hockball. If they continue that in 2025, they are going to be deadly. I don't think they're going to make top 2. I don't see them winning the flag yet, but I feel like in the next upcoming years, they are definitely flag contenders. They're going to have another remarkable season and bump higher up on the ladder. I feel like they're going to drop some important games, I feel like, which is going to cost them higher up in the ladder, but 3rd spot, that's still pretty high, and I see the Hawks after last season, if they just don't have the start they had last season, they can definitely finish 3rd. Now we crack down into the top 2. In 2nd spot, we've got the grand final winners from season 2024 is the Brisbane Lions. Now, they've still got that dominant list. They didn't really do anything to their list. Only some small major changes. Let's be real, they're going to be dominant. There's no reason why they shouldn't be dominant. It'll be very concerning if they are, but they're a remarkable team. They probably could make the grand final again in 2025, and it won't surprise me. Nothing's really wrong with their list and everything. They've got such a solid lineup and everything, and I see them finishing 2nd. I don't feel like they'll finish 1st. After last season, I think they finished 5th. I feel like 2nd is a pretty reasonable spot for the Lions, and they're going to be pretty strong. Now, in 1st spot, obviously the team that hasn't been said yet is the Geelong Cats. And I know pre-season's been a bit not the way they've sort of wanted to go, but they've got a solid lineup. We need to look at the Cats lineup and realised they've got a solid lineup. And I hate to say this, I am sort of sick of the Cats making finals. I do like the Cats. I have no hate to them. It's just sort of boring, you know, when it comes to sports, and the same teams are just making finals over and over again. We have to admit they are good though, the Cats, and they just keep adding. I don't know how they do it, but they just keep adding guns to the lineup, and they're going to be a solid team. So I've just chucked them at first spot. I feel like that's what they deserve. And I don't know if they're going to be flag contenders, but they'll definitely finish first in my opinion. Well, anyway, guys, that is my 2025 ladder predictions. I do apologise about the long wait, as I've been super busy, but we are back on the grind with YouTube. Comment down below what your ladder predictions are, and all that, I'd love to see what you guys have for your ladder predictions. But don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.